Welcome back to Module 2, The Art of Selfishness. Before we start, print out the worksheet. Do it. Print it out. Do it. Do it. Okay, here we go. Lesson 3. Do whatever the F you want. I want to teach you to start listening to yourself and your intuition and stop listening to the chatter. What you'll discover, you have an inner GPS. Now, we've talked a little bit about that in a past lesson, but we're going to go way more into it today. And it's your life, not anyone else's. Really, you think I don't know my life is my own? No, I don't doubt that, but the majority of people make life decisions based upon what everyone else in their life tells them they should do. And so we're going to talk about not only how it relates to our everyday lives, but also how it can affect you as an actor. Do you know how many times I've gotten new headshots taken in the past 5 years? Like 5 times. Newsflash, the problem wasn't my headshots, but I kept making all the changes that were asked of me. I wasted so much money, I can't even add it all up. I never got one job from one of the casting director workshops, but I did all of this because everybody around me told me I should. It never once occurred to me I should actually talk to a working actor who had been in the business way longer than I have and see what their experience was. Now that I think of it, I did do that actually. But the problem was I put all my eggs in one basket, and I don't think I was given the best advice. So if you're going to seek advice, I encourage you to seek a lot of people's advice, not just one person. Whoa, wait a second. Isn't the section called Stop Listening to the Chatter and Do Whatever the F You Want? Yep, but do whatever the F you want after you've got the information. There are a lot of people that have made a lot of mistakes, and you could save yourself a lot of time and money and energy just by asking some questions. So I'm going to think of all of the questions that I had early on and try to be that person that saves you all of that time and money and energy. I stayed with an out-of-town agent when casting directors in my market told me I needed a local agent. Unfortunately, I listened to that agent who kept convincing her out-of-town actors that she was nationwide and that there was no reason to have a local agent, etc., etc. And it was reinforced by my mentor at the time. And when I finally began to think for myself, I decided to leave that agent, and I was threatened with a lawsuit. Not fun, let me tell you. But I now have an agent with whom I can communicate, who is trusting, she's laid back, and she believes in me implicitly. I should have made the move years prior, but I am fiercely loyal. I also stayed with a manager for 4 years who got me 1 audition a year because I was loyal and prided myself on loyalty and honesty. Get over yourself. This is a business, and if your manager or agent is not really working for you, or something's not sitting right in that relationship, then find someone who will work for you, who you do have peace about working with. And believe me, someone will. Now, I am not here to condone disloyalty or agent hopping necessarily. I'm about as ethical as it gets, and everything I do is above reproach because I understand I'm in charge of my own reputation. And if you don't treat people poorly, then if they talk crap about you, it's really just crap. But I've spent years listening to what everyone else wants me to do with my career, and just a few hours listening to what I want to do. It hasn't kept me in chains necessarily. I do move where I want, I do the work that I want, but when it comes to career decisions, I've definitely listened to the chatter a little too often without listening to my IGS, my inner guidance system. Now that I meditate every day, I begin my day with music and dancing and gratitude, and I am so much more in tune with my IGS than I have ever been before. Your car has a GPS, right? A global positioning system. Well, I believe you have an IGS, right? The inner guidance system. So trust it. You trust it in relationships, don't you? I mean, we call them red flags. It's no different from when you drive through a neighborhood that looks run down and is considered a bad part of town, and you get that weird feeling in your body, right? That's your IGS. It's an emotional reaction or a feeling that you get. Some call this a red flag, a gut feeling. Whatever it is to you, you've got it, and learning to really listen to it is everything for you. Scientists call it intuition. Psychiatrist and author Ian McGilchrist says, your intuition, or what we call here your IGS, is not just some pink and fluffy feeling. Intuition is the awareness of the subtle stuff which lies outside the focus of attention, the stuff that we're aware of subliminally, unconsciously. And if we spend too much time in the stance of our very focused, conscious mind, we will not see why that seems important. It doesn't seem to be present. It doesn't seem to matter. One, therefore, cuts it out. So it's imperative that we stop and honor that feeling we get when we're listening to others. It is there, and it is there to help guide you through life. You have to find a way of discerning your own path in life. Many of us were raised to be what our parents wanted us to be or what society thinks we should be. You must listen to yourself and figure out what you want to do. And consider this. I'm assuming that everyone listening to this has eaten a meal in the last 24 hours, has clothes on their back, a roof over their head. You've trusted yourself to get this far in life. Why do you look to everyone else around you to show you what to do and where to go in your acting career and in your life? So, how do we improve our listening to our IGS skills? Well, the best way I know how is through meditation. Meditation is the most effective way to quiet your mind so that you can hear and feel your intuition speaking to you. I don't mean in an audible way necessarily, although I have heard instances of people hearing an actual voice, but it will likely come to you as a feeling. The life coach Duccio states, meditation is essential to feel well and live a happy life. Meditation can help us eliminate negative thoughts, worries, anxiety, all factors that can prevent us from feeling happiness. It has been proven that the practice of meditation, carried out on a regular basis, will mitigate the symptoms of stress and anxiety. I'm sold. I don't know about you. And this is also a great way to center yourself before an audition. So when you go into the room, you're calm, centered, and confident, and you do what you want to do. My first television gig I ever had, I went to a coach and I disagreed with everything he said. I felt like he was trying to get me to do the scene the way he would do it instead of getting me out of me. And I think the great, great, great acting coaches get you out of you. And I went in, I did what I felt like was the character from my own interpretation. I didn't get that role, and it was for a male computer nerd, and that's not my type anyway, nor my gender. And a week later, I get a direct offer from the same show for another role that was never even sent out on breakdowns for anyone else to even audition for. So for me, that was a huge learning experience on trusting your instincts. You know you better than anybody knows you. So when something doesn't feel right, listen to that. It's there for a reason. Meditate for 15 minutes every morning before you look at your emails and text messages. Emails and text messages are what everyone else wants from you. And when you respond to every single thing, the moment it comes in, you're serving everyone else's request and you're not putting yourself first. That has been a huge area of opportunity for me because I've got a little bit of people pleaser in me, or a lot of people pleaser in me actually. And I love to serve and help other people, but I've had to learn the balance between getting back to everybody else and prioritizing what's important to me. If you're new to meditation, here's some ideas to help you. You can use white noise. I tend to use guided meditations because my brain goes a million miles an hour. But the point is just to sit and to breathe and to try to focus your mind on nothing. And this may take time to get the hang of it if you're not accustomed to it. It has definitely been a learning curve for me. But there is no doubt that daily alignment with your IGS starts in the morning. Do the work, make it real. I'd like you to inventory each part of the business side of your career that you think needs improvement, and I want you to mark your calendar to tackle one per week until they're finished. I believe actors wait way too long to change agents as well, or at least to have a conversation with them, and they sit in worry and insecurity. No more. Let's take action on this, okay? And then commit to meditating every morning. If you say, I don't have time to meditate, you don't have time not to meditate. It's like you don't have time not to eat. If you don't eat, eventually your body has no more fuel to keep going. Meditation is to the mind as food is to the body. You've got to make this a priority. I promise it really will change your life. And you can do that by changing your life one day at a time. I've done it. You can too. See you in lesson 4.